In 1990, Dr. Shalaby W. Shalaby came to the upstate to become a bioengineering professor at Clemson University, a post he was offered because of his pioneering work in the field of antibiotic delivery systems, bioadhesives, and bioabsorbable polymers. He was a prolific writer of successful federal grants which provided research experience and financial support to scores of Clemson graduate students. In addition to his over 140 patents, Dr. Shalaby had over 350 publications, including 9 books. Since 1994, he was appointed an adjunct or visiting professor at leading research universities, including Clemson, Rutgers, and the University of Connecticut. Dr. Charles Towns did not come from wealth, but from his roots at Greenville High and Furman University, went on to become a Nobel Prize winner in physics. In the same spirit as Charles Towns, Dr. Shalaby came to America with only a few dollars in his pocket, but with a great intellect, which he used throughout his life to conceive, develop, and introduce significant innovations that have improved the health and well-being of thousands, if not millions, of people.
And from his time at Johnson & Johnson to Clemson to the work at Polymed, he left behind a trail of innovation wherever he went. But having smarts is not the only thing. Dr. Shalaby had true wisdom. He was not a man of many words, but when he spoke at our meetings, the room went silent, and they listened to every word that he had to say. Because behind those words, you know that there was so much experience, so much expertise, and really so much wisdom. He often turned a discussion into new and more productive directions than where we started. Finally, Dr. Shalaby was a kind and very gracious man. I can still see him with that broad smile and his trademark yellow sweater. And as I approached him down a hall, that hand would come up and he would say, "It's so great to see you." That was a man that probably had 10 patent applications waiting on his desk and a company to run. But when he sat down with you, you thought that you were the only person in his mind at that point. And the truth is, you were. He was always encouraging. He was always supportive. He was always positive.
To my knowledge, Dr. Shalaby had no medical background, but immediately he began asking some very, very sophisticated questions about the device and how it would work, and began offering alternatives. And this was just, this is just after a few minutes of talking it through. And so I knew immediately this is a brilliant man, and always showed up to the board meetings with he always had a smile on his face. He didn't talk a whole lot, but when he did, the whole board would be riveted by what he did. And he had a way of gently guiding the company and the board to go in the direction that we needed to go. And so I think he was a mentor to me, a mentor to the company, and it was a great loss when Dr. Shalaby passed.
Few more people like me who got good training from Dr. Shalaby. And even though he passed away 10 years ago, I still remember him as like yesterday. And I have so many fond memories working with him. It was so much fun working with him. He's an unbelievable person. Mm. Very kind. He deserves more than these awards, really. I know he got a lot of awards, was well known in American Chemical Society. He did a lot of educational programs for the American Chemical Society people and students. Yeah.
And Dr. Shalaby was our expert on polymers and stuff that goes in the body, which he is a visionary on that. Back in the early 90s, he was putting gauze, drug delivery systems, etc. in the body. So he was amazingly before his time. So if it was better to ask him than to try to Google it in those days, because he knew everything about it. The other incredible thing about it is he was just a walking encyclopedia. When he would open his mouth, he would command respect and no one would talk because they were just in awe at what all his knowledge was. And on top of that, he had an infectious smile that everybody loved. What a great guy, and I'm so sorry we lost him so early.
He's very humorous. You know, if you talk to him, he doesn't look like, oh, he's such a smart guy, doesn't want to bother with anybody. He comes every day morning to the department. He comes and says, "Hi, Chief, how are you doing?" He says that. And he talks to people and make them feel good. And because he comes and talk to you so nicely with you, and you feel like giving everything you got to work for the company, work for Dr. Shalaby. He doesn't make you to work. I think you want to work because of his kindness and friendship.
He never asked me to, I want you to do this. His way of doing things was, if it was me, I would do it this way. What a difference. Was remarkable in terms of the people that he knew. It was never, I want you to meet this kid who works for me. It was always, I'd like you to meet a colleague of mine. Oh my goodness, can you imagine how that made you feel? He used to say things like, when he wanted me to do something other than technical, he says, I'd like you to do something for your country. and that was, very motivating.
You've got to have the heart, what I call the heart and soul of the company. And that's what Dr. Shalaby was for us. The things that his attributes, we're talking about honesty, we're talking about integrity, we're talking about character, we're talking about he was going to make sure that he was the moral compass of the company. And I'm just so pleased that y'all have decided to give him this award because there's nobody more deserving.